The boys are back. That's right, Florida Man Sports is here with another exciting episode. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. This is Florida Man Sports.
Ladies and gents, Florida Man Football, we're back.
Yeah, I forgot my beer, man.
Listen, right. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. We're on location here. Jonny Cinco and Christian here. Chris and Johnny here, bringing you a very special Florida Man Football episode. Jonny Cinco, you're on location, right? Anything you want to share about where you're at right now?
Well, you want to know where I'm at right now? I'll disclose that during my picks.
During your picks. Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Right,
I like that. I like that. Streaming on all major platforms. Do please like, share, and subscribe. And Jonny Cinco, like we like to say here at Florida Man Football, let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid. Last week, when it came to the picks, the NFL Mafia, that is, took over, and we hit them with 9 wins. Would have been 10, but the Atlanta Falcons, of course, beat the Rams, gave us 9 wins for last week. Any thoughts besides the wins and losses? Like any thoughts around the NFL games last week?
I mean, in general, you got to look at the fact that somehow, after the crazy season that Baltimore's had, now it comes down to the final week, and it's going to be Baltimore Steelers final week decide that division.
Right.
Of course, we have the Buccaneers. You have Carolina deciding that division. You have so many different games, so many different things up in the air. You still have the number 1 seed up in the air for both the AFC and NFC going into the final week. So I can't believe the season is almost over.
I know.
It's been fun, and there's still a lot of unanswered questions.
And
moving to week 17.
To your point, Jonny Cinco, and by the way, I got to start looking at here to look at you. It's just so confusing on location. I'm looking here, so I apologize. But to your point, that's why with these picks that you're going to give us, I actually have a little story for every single pick. So it's pretty exciting.
Oh, you have a story.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's the last week of football, right? And so everything goes here. I will say about last week, though, briefly here, you've got the Bucs and the Dolphins, our 2 Florida teams, Jonny Cinco, and on the one hand, what are you doing? Like, I'm a diehard Buck fan. We know this here, but to the Dolphins, like, what are you doing, right? Besides hurting your draft position. I am a little salty that they beat us and all that, right? It was a close game, but at the end of the day, what are you accomplishing? Is McDaniels saving his job? No, he's not going to be back next season. So what does this accomplish? There's no such thing as a moral victory in the NFL.
I understand what you're saying in terms of you should play the game and you shouldn't play to lose. But the Raiders, they did it right. The Raiders went ahead and played. They made sure that they were getting that first overall pick.
Oh, yeah.
They made sure that they're going to be in a better draft position. What are you going to do, Chris? You're going to compromise the integrity of the NFL?
Like they don't do it already, Johnny? Like they don't do it already? Come on, give me a break.
It's already been compromised so much this year. And the Dolphins, it's funny saying with the Dolphins, especially with the allegations they had, a few years ago in terms of trying to tank.
Right.
And the owner paying, Flores, the former coach, to $100,000 per loss. So there was so many different things there. It is interesting. It's sad to see how the Bucs lost. Watching that game was frustrating because, okay, you win some, you lose some, but we wanted a dominant performance by the Bucs. I mean, you called that, the Dolphins were going to beat them. So regardless, it's not the fact that the Bucs lost because they still have a chance to go ahead and win it in week 17. It's how they lost. That upsets me.
So many points that you're jumping on real quick, but you just caught me with $100K for the losses. I forgot about that with Flores. Johnny, wouldn't you like it if somebody paid us $100,000 to lose? Like, think about that for 1 second. $100,000 to lose a game. Jesus. Oh God. Man.
It is nuts. But I mean, of course, this is allegedly.
Right.
So
right.
But at the end of the day, Jacksonville, which is just on the run, they got hot at the right time. They're going into the playoffs hot. So props to Jacksonville. We don't know what's going to happen with Tampa. We know what's going to happen with Miami.
Yeah.
But props to Jacksonville to going into. We know at least we have one Florida team going into the playoffs.
100%. To your point, I don't want to take anything away from Cohen. I don't want to take away from the 12 wins. It's the biggest turnaround in NFL history from 4 games to 12 games. So give the man his flowers. Give the GM Gladstone the flowers, the whole organization. You're 12-4. You deserve it. So congratulations. The reason why I'm saying that disclosure, Johnny, first is because one thing that I hate seeing when the Bucs are down like this, and this is Florida Man football, what I hate seeing is everyone wants to be so quick to jump fire bowls, right? Everybody wants to be quick. Oh, we should have kept Cohen. Oh, we should have kept Canales. Like, shut up for a moment. Seriously, shut up for a moment, because you're assuming that the coach being there gives you the same result. There is no guarantee, Johnny, and you know this in football, that if Cohen is the Bucs head coach, that we have 12 wins. You have no guarantee of that. It depends on the relationship and what happens. We know that Cohen was bumping heads with Mayfield before. That was happening. That was a real thing. So for people just to irresponsibly assume that, oh, well, if Cohen was here, we would be fine. Just shut up for a moment. I'm sorry. So that's the way I feel about it after all the comments that have been going on. I know I want to get your take here, but then I also want to say something else about the playoff hopes with the Bucs. But what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, at the end of the day, Chris, of course, we don't know the answers to a million different questions in the sports game. We're going to go ahead and make our assessment. And when you see that, when he was on the team was better with him as the coordinator. He goes to another team, that team immediately gets better, and Tampa gets worse. So it's not something to where the correlation's there. It's like saying, is water wet? We saw that. So I know you're upset. You're talking as a fan, saying that I'm
No,
upset.
I'm just tired. I'm tired of people running their mouth, Johnny. And you know what? To your point, though, let me give you devil's advocate on that. Number one, it was one season with the Bucs. Number two, it's one season with the Jaguars. So yes, you're right that it's consecutive. I'll give you that much. But at the end of the day, look at the Lions. The Lions had great success with Campbell. Now they're out of the playoffs. So we will see. We will see if the Cohen thing is real. In other words, I'll eat my words 3 years from now if they've made the playoffs 3 out of 4 years. Right? Does that make sense? Until then, don't talk to me about, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that, because anybody can Monday morning quarterback a situation after the fact.
Well, Chris, your example kind of hurts your argument, though, because you used the Lions as an argument. Campbell had one great season, and then after that season, his coordinators left, and we saw what the abysmal season he had this year. So what I'm saying is that your argument was that it wasn't the coordinators, it's who knows. That Lions example wasn't the best because it showed exactly that who Campbell is.
If I may, that is actually, I don't think you're seeing my point, Johnny. My point is that this could just be the result of a great situation with Gladstone putting the right people, with Cohen putting the right people. In other words, if this coming season, like, I want to see you do it back to back, is what I'm saying. And so we're all celebrating. Okay. We're all celebrating. The argument is Cohen should have been the coach of the Bucs. Stop for a moment. Let's see if he can have continued success, and then we can start talking trash about it. That's all I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying.
That's all I'm saying.
But you're telling fans to, when you have an amazing season, hey, shut up about it. Shut up about it.
About him being the coach. About him being the coach. Yes,
I get it. Yeah. But you're gonna throw out speculations. You're gonna throw out certain scenarios. You're gonna do certain things when you're winning and when you're losing. So Bowles had a horrible. He gets contract extension and really has had a bad year. They're gonna finish under 500.
Right.
So they may still win the NFC South, but finish under 500. So still not a great season. So you're going to talk, you're going to speculate. And with Cohen having a great season, the best season Jaguars have had in a long time, of course, let the fans speculate, let the fans talk. There's no point in hating on the fact that, you got to repeat.
Johnny, it's no hate.
Enjoy it now.
It's no hate. Kudos to Cohen for the 12 wins. Just stop with the back talk about the Bucs and about Bowles and all that situation. And I'll give you another example, because you said speculation, right? Well, here's more speculation for you. The Rams and the Falcons could have been 10 wins for Florida Man football last week, but the Rams lose to the Falcons. Then go and behold, Johnny, that it benefited the Rams to lose last week. It benefited them to lose to Atlanta, because now they get their way to the 5th round pick. In other words, they'll get to play the winner of Panthers and Bucs. And that's a better path for them in the playoffs. So again, it's all convoluted at the end of the day. It's all BS, for a better word. And we're just here for it.
But it's you can't, when it goes against your team, when you're getting flack or criticism or anything that goes against, the Buccaneers or the Jaguars or Miami, you can't sit here and be like, call foul. You can't call timeout and then put stipulations on other people's fanhood and say, no, you got to repeat. You got to do this. Just go ahead and take your lumps.
First of all, we have a highly rated sports program that says I can do whatever the hell I want. Number one. That's number one.
Okay.
And number two, yes, I sure as hell can, because this is Florida Man football, and I will defend the Bucs. I will defend them till I'm out of breath, and I will do the same for Miami and for Jacksonville when the time is right for it. When the time is right for it. So,
who says this? When is the right time? The right time is when it's happening. So right now, Jacksonville's having a renaissance.
Absolutely.
They're a great season for Jacksonville,
Absolutely.
and you can't hate on them because
Bro,
Tampa
that
is
wasn't hate.
having. Okay, I'm
We're on
hearing a lot of
YouTube.
hate.
We're on YouTube. We're on Next. We're on Facebook. Please comment if you thought that was hate. At the very beginning, I gave the Jacksonville Jaguars their flowers. All I'm saying is that some people need to they're so quick to jump the gun. And I'll get off my soapbox with this. But at the end of the day, I want to see what happens this next week. I want to see if we can actually punch a ticket to the playoffs. And I know we'll talk more about that with the picks.
Correct. But Chris, once again, with his backhanded compliments for Duval. But let's get to the picks, Chris.
Florida Man Football, streaming on all major platforms, talking about week 18. It all comes down to this. And like I mentioned, Jonny Cinco, bear with me because I have a story for every game. You ready to rock and roll?
All right, let's do it.
Are you ready to redeem ourselves and get ourselves back into double digits?
Yeah, man. Let's go. We're going to have another great week.
We're going to start with Saturday. That's right, Jonny Cinco, Saturday game. You've got the Panthers and the Bucks. Everybody knows this already when you get into the playoffs. But wait, there's more. Because now what we know is with the Falcons, if the Falcons have to lose to the Saints, so now the Bucks, in other words, long story short, for the Bucks to get in the playoffs, they need to beat the Panthers, and they need the Saints to do them a favor, and beat the Falcons. So Jonny Cinco, Panthers and Bucks. Bucks are at home, of course. Who's winning this game?
We can go back and forth and kind of have a long argument over this particular game.
Sure.
But right now, I am enjoying the new year here in Carolina. I'm here for a reason, Chris.
I hate you.
Because
I hate you so
I
much.
saw
I hate you so much.
We have all seen exactly what happened with Tampa. And Tampa, they've won what? They've lost, correct me, 7 out of the last 8 they've lost. The only victory was against Arizona. Chris, they look abysmal. Tampa, they played a horrific Miami Dolphins team against a rookie in his second start and looked terrible. We've talked about the keys of victory here was Baker needs to go ahead and limit those turnovers. And I would love to blame Baker. I'd love to even blame Bowles like you are at previous podcast. It's not that. For me, it's simple. It's a coordinator. We talked about exactly. We referenced Cohen. Our new coordinator, you look at the play calling, you know what's happened. That's the issue here. The 100% the issue here is the coordinator and the play calling for the Tampa Bay Bucks ultimately falls on Bowles. But Carolina, that's why I'm here to celebrate the new year here in Carolina, is going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and win this division. For any other reasons, because the Bucks have forgot how to win. The Bucks, their play calling is abysmal. The injuries are killing them. I know it's Florida Man football, and it breaks my heart to say it, but I got to keep it real. Carolina Panthers are going to win the NFC South.
I hope that while you're out there traveling in your glorious vacation, you don't happen to just break your kneecap and ankle in 5 different places. I hope that doesn't happen to you, by the way.
No, of course not.
Yeah, Panthers win.
Bryce Young's hanging out with me.
Seahawks and Niners, Jonny Cinco. We're getting into some playoff football, and you touched on this earlier, right? 13-3, 12-4, trying to get top of the NFC at this point. Niners are the home team. Money line says Seattle -1.5. Who's winning this game?
This is going to be a great game. It's going to come down to the wire. And then just like our boy Lewis, he's going to lose in the final seconds. And San Francisco is going to lose this game, okay? Same thing. The correlation's there. Seattle Seahawks are going to beat the Niners, take away that number 1 seed, take away that bye week from the Niners, and they're going to go into the playoffs losing. And I want to talk more trash about it, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and say that San Francisco 49ers are going to lose. Seattle's going to win.
Them Dirty Birds are going to be 14-3. Kudos. Talking about, the Jaguars, Jonny Cinco. Look at the Seahawks, man. Everything was right. Signing, replacing Smith, right, at quarterback. Everything was right. Kudos to the Seahawks because they're going to finish 14-3 according to Florida Man Football. Kind of already said this a little earlier, Jonny Cinco, talking about the Saints and the Falcons where, you're calling the Panthers to win, so it's irrelevant, but I'll still say it again. If the Saints beat the Falcons and the Bucks happen to win, they get in. Falcons are the home team. Saints, Jonny Cinco, Saints at 6-10 have been playing some great football as of late, believe it or not. Who's winning this game?
This is going to be another tight game. I mean, Slow, I believe his name is the quarterback for the Saints, really well. Kellen Moore really has done some great play calling for this kid.
I agree.
So they look really good. It kind of depends on which Atlanta team is going to show up. This Atlanta team relied heavily. You saw the game there. It was all about one player.
Yeah.
And so they relied on him and it worked out for them. Are they going to be able to go ahead and replicate that against the Saints? No, I don't see them. I haven't seen back-to-back, great victories by Atlanta and sometimes. So I'm picking the Saints to go ahead and win this game.
Give me a ray of hope, Cinco. You give me a ray of hope because if the Saints win, I can still hope the Bucs win. Let's go.
That is correct.
Let's talk about the Browns and the Bengals, Johnny Cinco. The storyline here is so simple. You saw what the Browns did last week, and basically Shadir Sanders is playing for his job, his livelihood. Let's call it for what it is. He's going to get another start here. His opportunity to hopefully ball out. The money line says Cincinnati -7.5, which would be great if somehow, some way, Shadir Sanders could end this season with a win. Who's winning this game?
Well, this game is going to be back and forth here, but Myles Garrett wants the sack record. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to make it all too easy because Burrow gets injured because he gets sacked a lot. So Burrow's legit, but they're saying Burrow's going to play it is in there. But once he starts getting sacked a few times, I see them pulling this guy out. They have nothing to play for. So last game, I see Burrow maybe playing a half, and Sanders is going to stay in there. This defense is playing with a lot of pride. They just went ahead and made the Steelers work for that division championship possible in the upcoming week against the Ravens. So in this particular game, Cleveland's going to go out as a victor. Cleveland Browns win this game.
Yeah, Cleveland wins. And you know what, Johnny Cinco, let me just double down on that question I had earlier, or not question, but the statement that I posed earlier. Sanders plays well, Browns win. Again, he plays well. Does the kid deserve to keep the job next year?
Why wouldn't he? I mean, at the end of the day, it cost him a fifth-round pick. They have nothing to lose here. So Gabriel, that's Stefanski's guy. That's his guy. And he showed that he had the starts, and it wasn't really working out. So I see this offseason, Stefanski's gone. I see Dylan Gabriel, he's gone, or possibly attempted to trade. I see they're going to build everything around Sanders with a new coach. It should be interesting who they bring in the offseason.
I'd like to see that.
But Stefanski's gone.
I'd like to see that. Let's talk about the Packers and the Vikings, Johnny Cinco. The storyline here is simple. The Vikings have not lost in like 2 months. That's pretty crazy. They haven't lost in like 2 months. They're at 8-8. I know that this year they're out of the playoffs, but for them, they would love to finish season 9-8 and just on pride have a winning record this year. And then the Packers, of course, at 9-6-1, they ended up sneaking into the playoffs even with that tie. Who doesn't want to go into the playoffs with 10 wins, right? At least to feel like you're a legitimate team. Who wins this game?
The Packers are in there. They're essentially playing for nothing. Both teams are. They both hate each other. Division game.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Love is not going to play in this game. So it's going to be Willis in there, who's been playing well, effective backup here. But give me JJ and the Vikings to go ahead and win this game and send the Packers into the playoffs losing,
going 9-7-1 into the playoffs. Let's talk about the Cowboys and the Giants, Johnny Cinco, where the Giants proved me right. They proved you wrong, by the way, because when I called this pick wrong, but it confirmed to me that Dart is going to be the quarterback for them and that Fernandez is going to go to the Raiders.
And Mendoza.
Thank you. Yes, Mendoza. And so you got the
I can go to the Raiders. I'm good with that.
So you've got the Cowboys and the Giants. Giants, of course, being the home team, and the Cowboys again talking about moral victories. Johnny, they're 7-8-1. I'm sure they probably want to finish with a 500 record this season. Who's winning this one?
Dak is playing. People think he's a fool for playing. He's a surprise. Not going to, and I look at this game and I think almost the same thing. They're not going to have Dak play the whole game. But I think this Giants team is so bad that they'll pull him after 3 quarters when the Cowboys are up by 3 touchdowns or something. Cowboys win this game against the Giants. Don't overthink it.
Cowboys finish the season 500 team with a tie. Any moral victories in football?
No.
Let's talk about the Titans and the Jaguars, Johnny Cinco. The Jaguars at 12-4, they still have something to play for. They're trying to somehow, some way be number one in the AFC. Of course, a win and an amazing 13-4 record would help that cause. And of course, the Titans trying to just put a bow on it at 3-13. Money line says Jacksonville -12.5. What you got?
Jacksonville's going to win this game. The Titans won a couple games against some bad teams. Jacksonville has proven they're not a bad team. Jacksonville, there's no way you can lose this game going to the playoffs. So don't. Just keep staying on a roll. Go into your winning streak. Jacksonville wins.
Duval. Let's move on to the Colts and Texans, Johnny, sticking in that division where the Texans, for me, in the AFC are the hottest team in football. I've said it. To me, when you look at the games, the winning streak that they're on and just the way that they're playing fundamentally, they are the hottest team taking on the Colts. 11-5. Here's the kicker, Johnny. They're at 11-5, and let's be real. There's a big difference between being 12-5 and 11-6 going into the playoffs. Colts, of course, are a 500 team right now at 8-8. Who you got? Houston.
Houston's going to win this game. So I was just listen. At the end of the day, it's always been a tough rivalry, even when they throw the records out the window.
Right.
But there's too many variables of what happened with the Colts. I'm not even sure if Philip Rivers is going to play, but it doesn't really matter. It's Philip Rivers or their third string kid. This is a no-brainer. Texans are going to win this game.
You know what? Talking about the Colts, as we're putting a bow on them too. You got a lot of teams, Johnny, that have won only like 2 games or 3 games that they are playing for draft picks and they're tanking. But then you got these 500 teams that are playing for pride, I think. And for the Colts, again, we talked about how disappointing this year was after the early success. But
Yep.
kudos to Philip Rivers, because the underlining thing is you cost yourself the Hall of Fame for another 5 years, but you got your family insurance for another 5 years. So if that's true, kudos to the man for doing that.
He got some money. Good for him.
There you go. Let's talk about the Jets and the Bills. Johnny Cinco, yes, the Jets, 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 taking on the Bills at 11-5. This is just another game again where the Bills are at home, and 12-5 sounds so much better than 11-6. Who's winning?
Bills win. No need to even get into the specifics. The Bills are going to win. Jets are terrible.
Hey, talking about another divisional game here, Johnny Cinco, where the Lions would want nothing more, I think, to at least try to finish 9-8 because they're at 8-8, 500 team out of the playoffs. Maybe play a little spoilies against the Bears here at 11-5. Bears are at home, of course. Who's winning this game?
Now, watching that game, the Bears this year look like the Lions of last year. So, Lions, you guys, your play calling's atrocious. It's interesting because obviously the offensive coordinator is now the head coach for the Bears. Bears are winning this game. The Lions are the team that you said they were last year. You just picked the wrong year, Chris. Last year you kept calling them to lose. They kept winning. This year you kept calling them to win, and they kept losing.
Yeah.
So you just need to reverse those years here.
So what you're basically saying is I was close.
Oh yeah, yes, you're real
That's
close.
what you get, Chris.
But the Bears are gonna win this game. The Lions, horrific year. Find another coach. It's not Campbell.
Oof, Bears win. Let's talk about the Chargers and the Broncos. Johnny Cinco, another playoff implication game here when it comes to seeding, 11-5 and 13-3. You know, the Broncos did lose the prior week, so obviously you want to go into this thing as hot as possible. The money line, believe it or not, says Denver minus 12.5. I think that's a little crazy. I know they are the home team, but I'm very fond of this Chargers team, Johnny Cinco. Who wins this game?
No, this is going to be the upset of the week, guys. Chargers are winning this game.
Wow.
End of the day, this rivalry that's always happening, even in Denver, they're going to win this game. Chargers.
Wow.
I went 14-2 before. I'm telling you right now, Chargers win this game.
Minus 12.5. Los Angeles Chargers plus 575. Is the money line. So for all you degenerate gamblers out there, Johnny Cinco just called an upset.
It is what it is.
Let's talk about the Chiefs and the Raiders, Johnny Cinco, where we already know what the Raiders are doing, playing for them draft picks. And you know what? The Chiefs at 6-10, and I certainly got nothing to play for there. Raiders are the home team. Who's winning?
Chiefs are going to win this game. Jets and Raiders, guaranteed L. Chiefs are winning.
Let's go. Let's talk about Cardinals and Rams. Johnny Cinco, the question in this story is, do the Rams lose to 2 birds in a row? Do the Rams lose at home against the Cardinals?
No, the Rams are going to win this game. They're one of the best teams in football. Yes, they took the L, but still one of the best teams in football. Rams are winning this game.
Awesome. Rams are winning. Let's talk about one of our last Florida teams here, Johnny Cinco, were the Dolphins. Always a tough matchup against the Patriots. I mean, last week they proved that McDaniels wants to waste draft picks. Does he do it again here, Johnny? Moneyline says New England minus 10.5. Who wins this game?
Listen, honestly, if this was Tua playing, Tua always plays well against the Patriots for the most part. There's a couple exceptions, but I don't see this young kid against this defense somehow beating the Patriots. Patriots are going to win by more than 10 points.
Whoa, Patriots win. Commanders, Eagles, Johnny Cinco, where the Eagles, of course, money line says -7 for them. Starting to right the ship. I can't stress this enough. At 11-5, you're the returning Super Bowl champs. You're going to want to get this W and be 12-5. Commanders at 4-12 have basically nothing to play for. Who's winning this game?
This is going to be a close game. People think I'm crazy for saying that. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a close game, like 3 points or less.
Ooh.
But the Eagles are going to come up on top, win this game, go into the playoffs as the victor.
How do you feel about to your point, the 12-5 Eagles going into the Super Bowl after the up and down season? You feel like they're ready to go?
I don't have any confidence in the Eagles and what they did. The Eagles, there's too much of a mess going on with AJ Brown. I haven't seen a lot of consistency from Hurts. Yes, they have a formula to win games and they find a way to win, but the NFC has a lot of good teams, and you can't just wait to turn it on like the Eagles are trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's teams going into the playoffs rolling. So the Eagles, I don't see it. I think there's too much dysfunction there that was there the year before when they collapsed. Well, the year that Tampa beat them in the first round. I see something similar happening. Eagles going into the playoffs, but they will lose. They're
Wow.
going to win this final week, though.
Let's talk about put a ball on this one, Johnny Cinco. The game of the week. I mean, it has to be right. We talked about the NFC implications for the Bucks and Panthers, but now you got the Ravens and the Steelers. Win or go home. It's very simple. Steelers are at home. I did touch upon this last week's episode about what Metcalf, that punch heard around the world. Then they lost last week. The money line says Baltimore -3.5, even though they're the road team. Johnny, who's winning this game?
Metcalf is a complete moron, and ultimately, him not being there and doing what he did is going to cost this team and from getting to the playoffs. They're going to need him. That's why they brought him on board. The Ravens have went ahead and did everything they needed to do. Lamar Jackson will be back for this last week. Henry had a ridiculous game last week. The Steelers are going to lose this game,
Wow.
choke out of the playoffs. Ravens win, get into the playoffs, and it's all going to fall because they don't have that guy. They got Metcalf to be that guy.
Yeah.
He's not there because he made a mistake.
Before you close out the show, Johnny Cinco, let's talk just a little bit more in depth about that. That's a lot, right? There's a lot to digest. Number one, if you're right, this means that the Steelers missed out the Aaron Rodgers experiment, everything because of Metcalf's stupidity. Number one. So just a lot to digest here before we close out the show. But just real quick, the Steelers, they got rid of Pickens. Remember that? They got rid of Pickens.
Yes.
They got Metcalf. So it would just be the debacle of all debacles because number one, the Aaron Rodgers experiment doesn't work. Number two, you've also heard about Mike Tomlin maybe moving on, taking a broadcasting job. So there's a lot to digest here with you calling the Ravens to win. And then on the other side, Johnny Cinco, I feel like the Ravens would be one of the deadliest teams at 9-8 entering the playoffs. Like there's a lot to be said in that division. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on everything? On the what's worse, the debacle?
You're overthinking this. At the end of the day, they made a move that they needed to make. The Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
They made a move to go for Metcalf, and Metcalf blew it.
Right.
So you're overthinking this. What happened here? They're losing this game because of it. They blew it. Metcalf specifically. If I'm the Steelers, I'm seriously considering moving on from him after this year since he went ahead and voided all his guaranteed money. The Steelers do not make the playoffs like I'd expect them to not do. Then you have to go look and see if you can trade Metcalf and take your lumps, take the L, get the draft picks and move on.
That you're literally answering my question why I brought it up. So you're proving my point. And the next question is, and it's not an overthink, is Aaron Rodgers, does he come back for another year? Mike Tomlin or no? That's the question.
No, he's done. He's going to go out on the outlet. Great quarterbacks like Tom Brady. If they win, like go deep, they have to come back. Those great guys always go out like first round and not making the playoffs. They're going to leave with that bad taste in their mouth. Unfortunately, that's how the greats leave the game. Same for Joe Montana. Rarely you see a guy like a situation like Elway where they go out on top.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's going to be an interesting week of football, Johnny. Wrap us up.
Well, guys, we appreciate you guys. Hope you have a happy new year. I know we're all going to celebrate it. Hopefully a great year of football, playoff football in 2026. And we look forward to going ahead and making the right picks for you in the playoffs.
I'm a fantasy champion.
I didn't want to say where you finished. You want to tell everybody where you finished this last week?
Thank you for tuning in to Florida Man Football.
Later, guys. Bye.